Alright, how's it going everybody? Mike O'Reilly here with Timberhawk Packs. I'm making this video to accompany a blog piece I'm writing for the Timberhawk website called Ground Blind Theory Part 1. This is my 5-point motion blind. Alright, this is how I hunt from the ground. I've never really heard it taught this way, so that's why I'm sharing it with you. What I do is I've made this little scenario here. Here's my little area I've cleared away. You move away all the leaves and stuff like that. You locate a couple good runs. Here the red run is like the hot run that you're focusing on. The blue one is a run, but it's not the important one. And then there's another run here behind you. And this is based on a real similar situation I hunted in recently. I did not have this creek over here that I put in, but I put that in there to show you that, you know, you always have to favor one side or the other as far as what side you're paying attention to when you're hunting on the ground, because you can't sit there and turn your head and be moving your head around. You know, we're not duck hunting here. You can't sit there and be looking all over the place. So what you have to do is favor one side. Now, if you have a creek over here, you're going to hear a deer crossing the creek, or maybe there's some oak leaves that are going to be crunchy, and you're going to hear the deer coming. So one side is going to be better than the other for you to pay attention to. And then the other thing is I've made here, like, let's pretend there's a bedding area over here. Maybe it's an evening hunt. The deer are getting out of bed and they're going to go this way. So your main anticipation is a deer coming from this direction. So why does this have, what is 5-point motion blind? Well, what does that means? What that means is you can move within this rectangle. It's about 10 feet by maybe 8 feet, and you're not really brushed in. I don't brush in and get all camoed up and stuff. What I do is I choose an area that is already really, really thick, and so a deer like 40 yards away really isn't going to see me. So I don't worry about getting like totally camoed and getting, you know, like a whole blind. I just clear away some leaves and I stand there. And the reason I have the 5 points is because I'm going to be moving and adjusting my position based on where the deer's coming from. Now, how am I going to do that if the deer is so close? Well, this area is so thick that what I'm going to do is, because we're anticipating a deer coming from this way and we have a creek over here, we're going to hear anything coming this way. So we're going to focus our attention that way. I'm going to stand here on number 4, okay? Now, if you do need to make it a little more camo and brush yourself in, you can do that. But the point of this is to be able to use kind of like a ground blind technique, you know, hunt on the ground without having to really brush yourself in, and actually get some benefit out of having this extra space and really get a true 360-degree shot, or have access to, you know, a shot, you know, all the way around you. So what you're going to do is, what I would do here is I would be facing this way, and my back would be this way, and I'd be in this little corner, and I'd be looking through this thick stuff, and that's so I can see the deer before the deer sees me. Now, why am I standing up and not sitting? Well, let's get down here to the eye level here. If you're in pine trees, let's say, you can see these boughs don't start till about 5 feet. And this deer right here is going to be eye to eye with you. So you don't want to be sitting. You want to be standing up so your eyes are blocked and your silhouette is a little skinnier. So sometimes when you're sitting down, you can kind of turn into too big of a blob. Now, I put this tree here to show you that that's not always the case. Maybe you have a real low tree. So if you're going to be moving over to position 2, you might be able to kneel down and have your face obscured by that tree, but maybe not. Anyway, so what we're going to do here is, why do I have the 5 positions? Well, I'm going to be facing this way, and this creek is pretty close. It's only about 40 yards away or 50 yards away, but this is really thick right in here. So the instant I hear the splashing, the instant I hear that, I'm going to take 2 steps or 1 step or however many I need to, and I'm going to go over to 3. And now why am I going to 3 instead of 2? Well, because I don't want to be that close to the trail when the deer comes down. I don't want to be looking, and I'm not facing him either. I'm not turning around. I'm just going over here. I'm still facing that way. And that's so I can get a quartering away shot. And that's the whole goal of this theory, is to allow the deer to get past you and then shoot them right there at like 10, between 5 and 15 yards away. That's the point of this, of the way I do it. So then let's say, okay, so let's go back to 4 here. Then if the deer, and then so that's your shot right there. What if the deer is coming from the other way? We're anticipating him coming out of this bedding area. He's coming up. Well, you may have not have heard him, but you saw him because you were right there. You're facing that way. When he gets behind this tree, and you have to rehearse this stuff, you have to know which tree he's going to go behind and what you're going to do when his vision is obscured, because you might only have a couple chances that his vision is obscured to turn your body, but you're not moving around a lot. You're just turning, and then you're still there in position 4. Then when the deer gets over here, you're basically out of his periphery. You draw your bow and you can shoot him right there, quartering away shot. Now these are the blue runs. These blue runs are kind of like not the primary ones that you're focusing on, but they're still, you can tell because the wind is going this way, so you're not gonna focus on trying to kill one right here because you might get busted anyway, but you still want a shot there in case a deer comes through. So once again, deer comes splashing through. You're facing the other way, but you heard him splashing, so you turn around in time, making sure you're not making eye contact as the deer, and then you're going to move from there over to position 2. And if you do this quickly enough, I mean, you'll be able to do it before the deer gets there and sees you or hears you. So now you're in position 2. And it's possible, to draw your bow back here, but I wouldn't do it. Now you're kind of in the deer's periphery. I wouldn't draw my bow here because you could when his eye gets behind that tree, but then he could freeze up right there. And if you draw your bow there and he freezes up, you're not going to get a shot on him. He'll turn around and take off. So then I wouldn't even draw my bow here. You let him keep walking, but when he gets behind this tree is when you draw your bow. Oh, I'm losing my trees. And then you have that window to shoot through. Okay, so that's where you would be in that position. And then if a deer was coming from this way, you would move over, take 2 steps over to position 5. And then same deal. Probably draw right around here and shoot him when he gets over here. So this works. This is not just like, I mean, this year I've had a lot of deer at this range. I shot the one doe. I killed one doe with my longbow, but it wasn't really in this situation. It didn't work out exactly like this, but my goal for the year is to let a deer walk past me before I even think about drawing the bow back and get that good quartering away shot. So it's really, really important. This is what my blog post is about. If you read it, it's all about angles. It's about, once you get in your little spot, you have to say, okay, when the deer is over here, what exactly am I going to do and when? And all this stuff I'm saying about hearing the deer splashing or seeing it move over there, if you don't act immediately and get into the right spot, let's say you're over here at number 5, and this is because you're not brushed in, you'll get screwed up here. And if you're over there at number 5 and the deer's over here, he's going to make eye contact with you and he's going to see you. But if you're only if you're only just, 5 feet difference is going to make all the difference, because now when the deer's over here, you're obscured by these trees and you get a chance to draw your bow just as the deer's just, or you're out of his periphery as he's passing you. So it seems like a big area to not be brushed in. You might feel really exposed, but it's actually a more realistic way to get a shot at a deer on the ground than just like sitting here and, okay, hearing him come, and then you turn around and you're facing him, and then he walks up to you, and then, he sees you draw your bow back. I mean, that never works. It's just not, you never, I've killed deer, facing me before and taken dumb shots on deer, and I've made it work out, but it's just not, it doesn't feel as cool when you take a shot at a deer that already knows you're there. I mean, that's the goal here. What we're trying to do is get a shot on a deer that never smells us, hears us, or sees us. You're over here in 4, bam, you got that good quartering away shot. So that's how I'm doing it. The 5-point motion blind system. Don't forget that spray too, that scent spray. You got to have, when you're on the ground, that's an important thing. You have to have some of that spray. When you get out there, you totally have to spray off all your stuff, and you got to do it like 3 times while you're out there. Just keep doing it, keep spraying it. But the thing is, do not move. You hear a deer coming, you don't turn and look at it. You have to be totally still, and you have to have your hand on the string. You have to have your bow in position, even if you're standing there for 2 hours like that. If you're turning your head, you're turning it very, very slowly, and you're panning around very, very slowly. You're not like looking all over the place really fast. So you have to be really, really careful. You'll see the deer before the deer sees you. Don't make eye contact. Plan for which tree his head is going to go behind when you pull your bow back. Know what shooting lane you're going to take. Don't take the shot until it's a good shot. So make it happen. Take care.